Hey everybody, all right. So now we're gonna get started on putting the top coat on the floors. This is really, like I said before, these are easy things that you should be doing on your own and learning how to do them. You don't need to pay somebody to do this. This is really, a couple days worth of work. If you stay consistent with this, you can get the floors finished, stained, and poly top coats finished, I don't know, in a couple days, maybe 3-4 days, and if you had to have somebody come in and do this, it's just quite a few $1,000s here. So, I saved a shit ton of money. I did it myself. Learn, and I'm learning, always learning how to do it better every single time I do it. So I've done this a few times, so every time I do it, I get a little bit better at it. I did the floors inside there already. This is the next big section I could do, but the floors inside this guest room that I did, absolutely fantastic. So I'll show you those once we get completed with everything. So you notice also I have the windows open in the area. The fumes will get pretty potent. So, I do leave the windows open here and the heat on. So make sure you're doing that. I'm looking on the floor and make sure I get all these little dust particles up. But of course, first thing I want to do is give this a little stir. I want to make sure I'm incorporating all of those together. And stir. I don't really want to shake this. I don't want to put air bubbles inside the finish because that will show on the floor. So I'm just going to stir this, just like you paint. Like when you go to the paint supply place, right, and they put the paint in the big shaker, right, you don't really want to use that right afterwards. You want to let that settle a little and then take the paint stick and stir it. It prevents from too many air bubbles inside there. So again, I'm just making sure. I'm going to fill up my roller pan here, and I like to use the throwaway roller pans. Again, thinking about cleanup. I don't want a lot of cleanup, so I like to use the throwaway ones because I get to throw them away. That's it. I mean, we're still saving money because we're doing it ourselves. So don't worry about the idea that you're using these, paint liners. Use them because then this way you don't have to worry about mess with the cleanup. So I have the empty can here. This is for my brush when I'm done using it. So I'll come over here in the corner and I'll show you. Come on, we'll get started. Okay? So, taking my poly, right? And I want to be pretty liberal with this. I don't want to be stingy with this. So, and I'm going to apply around my edge here. And like I said, I usually go around 6 inches from the edge all the way around. This way, when I put the lamb's wool applicator, I don't have to go that close to the wall. So again, I'm taking it and I'm applying it just like I would if I was painting on a wall. There's no different, except for with this, because it finishes clear, you're not really going to be able to see where you start and stop, but you can if you look. Whatever's wet and whatever's dry, that's how you'll notice, right? It's very dry over here, and over here you notice I put the finish on already. You could see it's wet, and this takes a while to dry, so you'll be able to see where you applied it and where you didn't. So again, I'm looking just to get myself around the edges first. And I don't want to get ahead of myself. Just like applying the stain, I want to run this all the way down. So, I'm going to apply over here, underneath the radiator, underneath the baseboard, to make sure I got a nice top coat, a nice finish on there. And I'm going to apply it all the way down. And you'll see. You can see, like, where it's wet and where it's dry, you can notice right away. And like I said, if it's cold and damp out like the weather is now, make sure your windows are open and the heat is on. Remember that song, The Heat Is On? Yeah, this ain't it. This is work right here. So, again, applying the finish, very important for the floor. You don't want to not have a finish on your floors. So I count them. I go about 4 rows out, and that's how I know that I've applied my finish there, right? So you'll see, again, with the brush, I'm 4 rows, and nice, even, all the way. If you make a little bit of a mess, just wipe it up. You don't want clumps of it laying on the floor to dry. Because when you go back over it, it's gonna have you'll feel it, it'll have a raised area. So again, making sure I'm getting these areas all top coated. And again, I'll move all the way down the line with this whole thing. You know, again, making sure, look, that's what I carry the rag for. You see this? Look, one, look, I got some on the baseboard. As long as it's wet, wipes right off. You don't have to worry about no thinners or, you know, anything else. So, and I'm getting all the way underneath, as far as I can get. Because this gets a lot of heat, cold, hot, you want to make sure you apply that finish underneath that baseboard. The wood takes a beating from the cold and hot, constant change in weather. So you want to make sure you put a nice finish on here. And don't worry, you know, it has like this white milky hue to it. That all goes away. And don't worry about, you know, like, because these floors they're not new. You know, these floors were put down in the 60s. But look how great they lasted, right? So don't worry about these little, you know, openings and separation in the wood. The wood just does, wood has a natural, you know, way of expanding and, you know, contracting. So it has to do what it has to do. So don't try and fight that. You know, you have to tear up the entire floor to, you know, get all those seams, you know, perfect again. It just wouldn't happen, and it's unnecessary. So you don't have to, you know. Again, like I said, I'm going 4 rows out. I want to make sure I have finished up to 4 rows, and I'll do all of this with the brush before I get started with the applicator. Will go fast. So I want to make sure I'm getting all of this done first. So like I said, 4 rows out, and I'll run the rest of the way, and I'm telling you right now, this floor is going to look absolutely amazing. When we come back, I'm going to show you how I apply it with the applicator. It'll go much faster.